background on Joyce, and then I will turn it over to her. Joyce was born in Brooklyn, where she lives and works today. She attended the New York Studio School in the mid-1970s and has shown her work nationally and internationally. Please join me in welcoming Joyce Pensato.
First of all, I just want to say I'm honored to be here and to be in such an incredible museum. And I asked my friend Christopher, well, what kind of paint was he using? And he said enamel paint, which I had no idea how to work with. But it was like something new to me because I was doing very traditional material. And that to me was like coolness, is this enamel paint. But it was like jumping into a new world where you didn't know anything and you could do whatever, you could invent something. Such a rich time for me, just playing with the surface. I wanted it to look, and it still has a freshness, like you just did it, a wet look. Okay, the abstraction is in the movement, in the brush and physically in your arm. And so say I'm looking at Batman, so I see it as abstract. The head, like, and the eyes, I see it as an abstraction, but it happens to represents Batman, so it's a familiar object. All in the arms and hand, it's emotion.
Yeah.
And then I accept what drips I want. I make a decision. If it's not working, or drip takes away from the image. So it's very considered, even though it looks like.
So it has sort of a responsive, like you make a mark and then you sort of consider it.
I look at it, yeah, if the drips are working the way I want. If it doesn't, then I wipe it off. Erasure is very important, part of my process. I mean, the eraser to me is like a mark of erasing. The drawing process is also like getting it a structure where it's really tight. And the eraser, the ghost of the eraser is part of it's like the drips almost. It's part of the marking. I still see myself as measuring constantly, like a Giacometti drawing or a Cezanne is putting away, taking, putting down, taking, until it's really how you want it to be. So it's very it looks messy. It looks like I'm flinging stuff. It's all about drawing to me and the structure. That's really important. It has to have that. In my studio, I have a big collection of stuff, and I would have these photos around, and as I was working, paint would splatter on it. And I sort of became aware that, hey, that looks pretty good, that. It looked like some work I connected to. And then I started to bring into my studio, like finding an Abraham Lincoln, that the portrait's so incredibly strong and so iconic. It felt what I wanted to represent because he's really staring at the viewer, and then I think of the paint as splashes. And then I thought it's like, or boxing is like a physical thing when you do with the brush. You go. I started putting color in my drawings, but I have to beat it down. I start pastel, they're really up and bright. And then as I work, I ground it down so you see a little bit of it. So the challenge was to put color in the painting. And there's a couple of paintings, and I thought, the way I work with the drawings, I could do the same, kind of just put it, take away, and so you see remnants of whatever the history was. Now, I'm going to try to challenge myself with, I can't see myself doing anything like full color. But try to push it in some direction. But I like to work with one image and really push it, and that's why they're so obsessive, and it's like so many. So I probably could do another 10 years of the same stuff.